So here on this channel, I know that we don't do too much discussing of the NBA. As you have so eloquently stated, there is a racial bias against the non-melanated in the league. There's just not enough Casper the Friendly Ghost-looking mofos in the NBA, and that kind of offends you. So we don't really discuss too much of that on this channel.
No, it offends me to a highest degree, but we had some interesting, interesting things come across the docket. Why don't you just...
So, in the NBA, there's a lot of drama that I don't really think that me or Cap really appreciate, with players requesting and demanding trades and, trying to create super teams and double speak and the whole bit, right?
Right.
And, we've seen this with James Harden, which is a whole different video topic in and of itself, right?
Yeah.
But we just saw something happen in Portland where Dame Lillard, who's been running his mouth since Kevin Durant went to the Golden State Warriors, talking about, I will never go to another team. I don't care if I never win a championship. I'm going to stay in Portland, the whole nine, right? And what did he do after they failed to trade for some superstar using their first round draft pick?
Demanded a trade.
So he talked all that shit, Cap. All that shit about, wanting to only have one team on his basketball card, and, wanting to be one of the...
Not running from the grind. That was a
the whole thing, right? Like, he wanted to be, seen as, the all-time great that stayed with one team.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, I want to play for the Miami Heat. Right? So, what ended up happening, Cap?
Well, Lillard ended up going from the Portland Trailblazers, getting traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. And the Milwaukee Bucks, all things considered, they trade... we don't have it right here in front of us, but the trade was actually pretty reasonable to get a guy like Lillard. But yeah, he didn't get sent to his premier destination, which was Miami. And just before we go into the other thing, I'll have to say this: Lillard with Giannis, the Bucks should be one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. But some of the reaction we have seen from that trade, you can leave that into that.
Yeah, so basically the part that really the moving parts that are the most important would be DeAndre Ayton being given up on, Phoenix been trying to get rid of this guy. Yeah, they were been trying to get rid of this guy for a while.
Right.
And Drew Holiday going back to Portland. And they ended up flipping him, I think, yesterday for Malcolm Brogdon, Williams, and I think he's a power forward center,
and a first round pick.
2 first round picks. One is in 2029, and they also get Golden State's 2024 first round pick. So the Portland Trailblazers, in my opinion, are the biggest winners here. Dame Lillard, as much as he does the Dame time thing and he can shoot from 60 feet like it's from 24 feet, he's become more injury prone in his career. But obviously Drew Holiday going to the Boston Celtics, I'll let you kind of speak on your opinion on that later.
Yeah.
But the real issue here being that when Lillard goes to the Milwaukee Bucks, is basically essentially a point guard trade. Lillard for Drew Holiday from the Milwaukee Bucks perspective.
Right.
And so a lot of people said, well, they finally have that volume shooter that plays well with the other grinders and role players that are on the Milwaukee Bucks. The problem is that Dame Lillard is not the defender that Drew Holiday is. And so sometimes when you have a very strong defensive team, and you've seen this in hockey, where the whole team is very strong, but then they take one guy out of the rotation to get more offense, and then the whole defense breaks down.
Yeah, I think a lot of analysts keep saying that Giannis is a great lockdown defender, and he is, but he can't cover all 5 on the court. And Lillard, I think he had an amazing season. It was like 32. He averaged 32 points per game.
32 or 33.
Yeah, he was spectacular. I think he's one of the best point guards in the league. I think Steph Curry has that number one spot, but you could say he's number two. But I do agree there is a chance that it could bite them in the butt defensively if they don't have other guys pick up the slack. Because Lillard isn't as good defensively as Drew Holiday, but I would say Holiday isn't nowhere near the same caliber offensively as Lillard. So it's not a give and take.
Right. So obviously, the equation for the Milwaukee Bucks as they try to get better as a basketball team is: will you be able to cover over Lillard's defensive deficiencies with his offense? And if it's a net positive, then the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be very fun to watch. I want to watch every game that Milwaukee plays against Phoenix.
Yeah,
that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So obviously there are winners and losers in every trade.
Yep.
Sometimes the winners and or losers will be on other teams, and in this case, the big losers would be the Miami Heat, because there seemed to be some sort of bromance between Dame Lillard and Jimmy Butler and the rest of the Miami Heat organization.
Yeah. I mean, I think he was really excited to go to Miami, and let's just call it what it is, though, too. It's also Miami. It's the lifestyle, I think, for basketball players, just being down in Miami, the nightlife, and everything that kind of entails, the warm weather. It is a premier destination, and Pat Riley has built championship teams over the years, and I don't know. Yeah, I think it would have been like that's where he wanted to go, and it just didn't shake out that way.
Well, I think I want to give the basketball players of this generation that want to go to Miami a little bit more credit, because there's a lot of talk about the Miami Heat culture, and it's really weird, but when you look at the way that the Miami Heat organization has kind of been cobbled together and the spirit of that organization, they're much more blue-collar lunch pail than the glitz and glamour of the city that they play in would suggest.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think Lillard would want to go to Miami if they were a 16-win team just so that he can look at some chicks with some fake tits on the beach.
I mean, but let's also not write out the fact that the weather has a nice part of it. And, I mean, yeah, lunch pail. I mean, look at Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was taken off of teams because of how his personality was perceived. Let's not forget, we're not that far removed as Jimmy Butler being the bad guy when it came to the Timberwolves, when it came to the 76ers, because the guy is an extremely hard worker and he demands a lot from his teammates.
Yeah, but he's also a malcontent. He's had problems in Miami with his teammates and his coach as well. So it's not like he's become a model citizen in Miami. It's just that his talent and his will to win is so great that it covers over a multitude of sins, much like Michael Jordan in the 90s. Not saying that he's on Michael Jordan's level, but his playing ability covers over a lot of the detriments he brings to the team from an interpersonal level. Now, he was not happy. He was not happy that Lillard ended up really as far away from Miami as possible to the north, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Now, everybody kind of has their ways of dealing with things that they don't really like very much. And he took to Twitter and he said that the NBA should look into tampering or something like that, as if Lillard was a free agent and signed too early. It was a fucking trade. Come on, Jimmy.
I don't know if he was just trolling though.
No, but then one of his teammates seconded it. Yeah, we need to have an investigation. Like, really?
Wait, what? Okay.
Yeah, one of his teammates retweeted it.
I didn't know that. That's funny though.
I think it was Tyler Hero. They salty, son. They salty.
I mean, listen, Tyler Hero needs to stay on the fucking court before he can chirp or say anything. Let's be really fucking frank there.
Well, I don't know if this has anything to do with him being not too happy with the trade, but
I mean, listen, my he's going through his emo phase. He's been through a lot this summer. Thought he was gonna get Damian Lillard, right? The Milwaukee Bucks get him, right? So, like, Miami Heat just went to the finals, right? Yeah, they're thinking, hey, we get Lillard. It's Dame time. It's time to run it back. And then Milwaukee Bucks get better, right? And then Milwaukee trades Holiday to the Western Conference, and then Portland's, you know what? We'll trade him back to Boston. Miami is not looked at as the favorite or even the second favorite now in the Eastern Conference. They're not.
Nope.
They do not. They are going to be very hard pressed. Injuries aside, to get out of the East. And for me as a Boston fan, I'm glad we got rid of Marcus Smart, and I'm glad we replaced it with Drew Holiday, because I think offensively he's more there. Smart's probably a bit better defensively, but I don't think there's such a lapse in ability there defensively. And then
you got Porzingis too.
You got Porzingis too. And then with with Milwaukee, you get the perfect match. It's like with some of the duos you see now, they're like both shooters, both perimeter players. You got someone that can shoot, you got someone that can work the interior now with Giannis. Mm-hmm. So Lillard and Giannis, hypothetically, should work extremely good in tandem. But listen, it's emo Jimmy, and I'm here for it. It's like he's got the piercings and everything.
Hey, man. The first thing that I thought was the first image that came to my mind is the moderately overweight Caucasian woman who claims that she doesn't date white men. She will only
that hair.
She only wants to watch the British Broadcasting Company.
You're stupid. You're stupid.
Okay. That's where she gets her news from. The British Broadcasting Company.
It's just. I think.
Otherwise known as.
Yeah, BBC. I think I think with Jimmy Butler, man, he's just having a little fun there. But I think that's. His outward appearance is how most of that Heat roster feels. They understand that they're up against it now, man. It's going to be very, very difficult for them to even get to a conference final in the East. What are your thoughts when it kind of comes to some of these trades, and where do you think Miami has any shot in hell of getting back to the Eastern Conference Finals?
Well, my second thought was the black chick that swears she's Japanese.
Okay.
Right? She watches nothing but anime. Right? She's wearing torn stockings on her forearms.
I'm just
Come on, you see it. Come on, you see it.
Listen.
You see it.
So, with 2023, a white man says this shit.
I stay trying to trap you. But
Jimmy looks like a trap, but that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, he definitely played some sort of trap card or something. I don't know, man. Dude,
it's weird, right?
He's looking real sassy right now, and he's sounding real sassy right now. All right.
Yeah.
Game over.
R.I.P. But back to the trades, man. I think that image of Jimmy Butler is gonna haunt my dreams.
Well, I'm glad you showed it to me, because I didn't even see that shit before you sent it to me. I had to look.
Okay, so the trades. I think that the NBA is trying to find its way towards being more interesting by constantly trying to create more super teams. I think everybody's waiting for whichever free agent is in a medium or small market and looking to see if they can sign him, do a sign and trade, max contracts the whole bit. And I think that in the end, it's going to end up being where people are only going to care about certain games on the schedule. Right. When Boston plays Milwaukee, the ratings will go up for that.
Yeah.
Anytime Boston is playing on national TV, there's going to be ratings. Anytime Milwaukee plays, Phoenix, Golden State, and the Lakers, obviously. Yeah. And I look at the rest of the league, who's been kind of drained of their talent, and I don't really see. Portland is probably going to be a good team, but their solid play is probably going to be pretty boring. Nobody really liked watching the Denver Nuggets as good as they were, right? because you don't have like that superstar moxie. The best player in the league just wants to go home. Like, he's probably the saddest player in the world right now because training camp has started and he wants to go and do other shit with his life.
Yeah, yeah, that's so true. Because after the championship, he's like, "Oh, I just want to go home." Like, that's funny. That's true.
Yeah, I just want to do something else.
Jokic is a monster, though. Jokic is a monster.
Yeah, and I love the guy because of the lunch pail, blue collar. I mean, we're getting, you have that in Denver, you have that in Miami, but I don't really see. I don't think this is really good for the health of the league overall. To have all of the good players basically bunching up on 5 or 6 franchises. I mean, it's great for the playoffs, but you have 6 months worth of games to play, and I'm just not sure that many of these matchups anybody's going to care about. The Washington Wizards, who cares? The Knicks, who cares? Portland, even though they got better overall, nobody cares anymore. Now it's just going to be Milwaukee, Boston, like I said, Phoenix, Golden State, and the Lakers. And those are the most interesting teams to watch. And I'm just not sure that the rest of the league are going to get the ratings that the league is going to be looking for.
Honest question, though, is this really that much different from basketball maybe a decade or even 2 decades ago? Because there's been times in the league, right, where you probably had some really decent parity, but to be fair, this isn't really anything different. The only thing I would say positive out of this is you probably do get around 6 to maybe 8 teams that can actually, more like 6 teams potentially win a championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's much different from the last couple decades where a lot of teams have been just overstacked. I know for the Eastern Conference, I remember with Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker way back, right, when those were a deal. These sucked. Like, the Eastern Conference was absolute trash. Now, it was a little bit different in the West. I don't know. Like, I get what you're saying, and it's kind of interesting for me on a development side of things. Like, why do you feel like the league in a lot of ways, maybe this is just my personal opinion, is I feel like there's a little less talent in the league right now. Am I wrong in that assumption?
Well, but here's the thing, right? The perception is there, because that's really the point I was getting at, Cap. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about parity. I'm talking about interesting matchups.
Yeah.
See, even with Portland being the team that they were, no one really cares about the Portland Trailblazers, but you care to see Damian Lillard play. Yeah. And he's no longer on that team. So even though they're a better team and they probably can contend in the West, 5, 4 seed, somewhere between the 4 and the 6 seed, and be a solid team, you care about them less, which is why I talked about ratings and not competitiveness. Because the New York Knicks are going to be competitive. But do you care? Does anybody think, oh my God, I can't wait to watch Julius Randle play? No, nobody cares. When you look at Washington, who do they have on the team that you care about anymore? When you look at Dallas, I mean, they have Kyrie Irving, and he's polarizing.
They got Luka Doncic.
Luka Doncic, right?
Yeah.
But Denver is a championship caliber team who actually wanted to watch them throughout the year. So it's not necessarily about the parity, right? You're going to get, 8 teams in each conference that go to the playoffs, and anything can happen. We know that, right?
Right.
But the thing is, the teams aren't interesting because everybody's trying to force their way, and it's bad because the league is out there finding players for even the hint that they are publicly speaking about trades. For the hint that they're talking about being malcontents, they're throwing out $100,000 fines. So the league knows that it is a problem. You can't have all of the league's most interesting players all consolidating on 5 or 6 teams, because then it's not good for the overall health of the league, the financial health of the league. You want to make sure that Shai Gilgeous-Anderson, you want to make sure, did I get his name right? Shai Gilgeous? I don't know. This hyphenated names need to stop. Thanks, feminism. He needs to stay in OKC.
Yeah.
Right? Not necessarily because of whether or not they can win or not, is that we can't have guys like James Harden constantly saying, I need to be on another team to be with these guys.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, the problem is the NBA has the players pretty much have all the power now.
That's not a problem. But the thing is, for the health of the league, you need to have the talent spread out.
But that is a problem because talented players, right? There's no longer, right, going on your own and really building your own shit. That's just not the mentality anymore. Everybody wants to team up. It is a problem. Now, listen, get your money, do what you got to do. I'm fine for that. But these are the consequences of having a very player-friendly league in that regard, where players can just demand things and it will happen at the drop of the hat. Now, to be fair, fair to Portland Trail Blazers, hey, they traded Damian Lillard and they got a good, pretty decent package for him. And, they didn't send him right where he wanted to. But, most of these organizations are having to move, like, players that they have, multiple years left on their contract and a ton of money offered. It's... this is a problem with the NBA in a lot of regards, where in a lot of different a lot of different leagues, you can't just demand a trade like that. You can be a malcontent, but I mean, and I know you don't watch football, but like with J.J. Taylor, like the star running back of the Colts, he wanted to get a new contract, you want all this stuff, and he demanded a trade, and he's still not been traded. In the hockey, that's happened. In MLB, that's happened, right? Like players demanding trade, and then eventually, sometimes the owners will kind of give in, and most of the time, they're going to be like, well, we paid you this fucking money. You're going to be playing here until the contract is up.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA, it's all about teaming up, getting with your homies, and just trying to run wreck over the league.
Mm-hmm.
It is a league of super teams, and it's kind of unfortunate. I think Denver was actually a breath of fresh air in that regard, in my personal opinion. I know it wasn't flashy, it wasn't the most amazing basketball to watch for some people, but Jokic was really good, Murray was good, and it was just kind of a breath of fresh air in that circumstance. Instead of having a bunch of guys that get together and make this super team, you actually had some homegrown talent.
Mm. Well, let me ask you this question.
Uh-huh.
I believe that there may be a new trend of malcontents in the NBA protesting by switching to masculine women's hairdos.
Oh my god.
Who's next to change his do to look more feminine in protests after Jimmy Butler? Who's next?
LeBron James.
He doesn't have that. He doesn't have. I mean, dude,
yeah,
I don't know how many. I don't know how many more. I don't know how many more pubic hairs he's got left to paste on the top part of his forehead.
It's called extensions, right? Just get a wig, right, or like a fucking what's that called?
Could
like
you imagine if motherfuckers on the court start wearing weaves and wigs on the court?
Shout out WNBA, but I think
Hey yo! Oh wow!
But honestly, I just there's probably more of this we'll see. I'm actually the second biggest loser in this whole trade is actually the Philadelphia 76ers. With Embiid, with Harden. What's going to go on with that now? Embiid is looked at as like this superstar type player. Mind you, he's had some injury and health issues, and they've had to low manage him because I think it's, he's, very injury prone. But the 76ers, like, the trades that just recently happened, right, with the Bucks, with the Celtics, and they're not looking good. They haven't really improved. So, maybe Embiid's going to be the next guy that's like, yo, I want out. From
what I heard, he's already kind of run his mouth in that way.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you see Embiid join up with the Lakers or with the Celtics. I don't know. I could see
everybody's on the Celtics, man. Everybody.
Yeah, every Celtics. Maybe go to the Phoenix Suns. They don't have fans, but they got star players.
They're so far over the salary cap. It's not even funny, man.
No, they don't. And some Suns fans might take that slight, but Arizona's known as a poor sports town for a reason.
Yeah.
But, like they're over the salary cap. Who do they got? They got like Durant. They got Booker. Just imagine if they got Embiid. Like, we're just gonna pay all the We're gonna pay all the luxury taxes. We're gonna just pay all. Of it.
I think they got another star on that team too that they got from an East Coast team.
Yeah, it's like,
who was that?
I'm gonna actually make sure of it right now because I don't want to be misspeaking.
Because they have They have a bona fide trio now.
Yeah, it's Durant. I'm blanking. Bradley Beal.
Right. Yeah.
Bradley Beal's not. He's
Bradley Beal's a 30-point a game scorer.
Is he?
He's ridiculous.
I mean,
But remember, he was the only player that you cared about on the Washington Wizards.
Yeah,
and now he's not there.
He averaged 23 last season. Yeah, I mean, I think. Yeah, I mean that's a.
What did he average last year? Not just past year, but the year before that.
The year before that, let me look. Give me a split second. Where's the points? He added 23 before that. Then what you're thinking of is the 1920 and then the 2021 season where he averaged 30.5
Right.
and then 31 points per game. So
Right.
I don't think he's that far removed. I mean, Washington was cheeks, so I mean maybe in Phoenix maybe he has a nice revival. Maybe Embiid's like, I want to join there. I don't want to run. I don't want to really try. So I don't know.
Nah, Embiid always puts out maximum effort, which is why he was such an injury risk when he got drafted. Trust the process, right?
Yeah.
I don't think he trusts the process in Philadelphia anymore. So that's a wrap for that.
Shit. What's his name? Fucking Ben Simmons couldn't make a jump shot. Like I had a better shot percentage.
He wouldn't even take the jump shot.
Yo,
Shit.
bro, he would run from it, dude. It's like, oh, I got an easy layup. Now let me throw this out to the 3-pointer for the guy covered. It's just crazy.
Yeah. So, and he's 6'10", right?
Yeah. I mean, is he still in the league? Is he still with the New Jersey Nets?
I don't. Yeah, that's basketball Siberia for me. Like I don't know who's on that roster. Mofos go to that roster and I forget they exist.
I'm actually gonna Google, is Ben Simmons dead? Nope, he's still alive. His career sure as fuck is.
Oh
yeah,
no!
man.
Does he have any respect in the league at all?
Bro, he had a dude. To be fair though, bro, he pulled off a triple single, 6.9 points, 6.3 rebounds, 6.1 assists. That guy's balling. Yeah, I mean, I think Ben Simmons is his career is.
Yeah, I don't think he'll get another contract at this point.
No, he's. I mean, when you're getting a triple single, it's pretty much a wrap. So
yeah, man. In the comments section down below, give us your thoughts on the state of the NBA today, the trades that have happened in the last week. Any trades that you would like to see happen, including where you would like to see James Harden go. I'd like him to, go to China. Let us know what you think about this upcoming NBA season, the trades you want to see, and what teams would you like to see play each other in the regular season and in the playoffs.